Hello fellow dicers, welcome to my video on Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. This is made by Fat Shark and is the latest in a series of games that started with Vermintide. Now, it originally released in November 2022 on PC in early access, later to come to Xbox, and it's now just made its way to PlayStation. I have played it on both PC and on Xbox. My PC was not good enough to play it properly, so it was stuttery as hell, and there were quite a few teething issues on the Xbox version as well. So I have bought this just so I can do a review for you, and to see whether they have actually fixed the bugs. Now, I do remember the developers saying that they didn't want to bring it to PlayStation until it was completed and finished, I think. Basically until they'd ironed out all of the issues with the game. So hopefully they have done so. So the premise of the game is you are a prisoner who you basically create your own little backstory. But in essence, you've committed a crime, or haven't, as the game says, so you're potentially innocent of all charges, but you've been charged with a crime, I should probably say, and you are being transported on a prison ship. Now, as you can see from what's going on screen, the prison ship is raided, and it does allow you to escape, but it doesn't mean that you're going to escape into a life of a criminal. Oh no. You escape into the servitude of the Inquisition. That's all I'm going to say on the premise of the story for two reasons. One, I don't want to spoil it, and two, I can't spoil it because I don't actually know the story all that well. Although I played on both Xbox and PC, I didn't play that much. As I say, my PC couldn't run it, and on Xbox it had quite a few bugs, so I didn't really play it as much as I probably could have. That being said, I do know the structure, I do know some of the things that this does well, and realistically I don't think there's anything it does badly. I think possibly the worst thing it does is it does have a real money store where you can buy cosmetics, but other than that I don't think there's anything too out there as far as the game is concerned. Now, just like Vermintide, you have four classes to pick from. You have the Brute Ogryn, as I have picked for my playthrough. You have a Psyker, you have a Zealot, and you have a Veteran, I think they call them. Which basically means you've got a tank, you've got a wizard, you've got a, I'm gonna say, rogue style, and you've basically got your all-out warrior. So the interesting one, of course, is the Zealot is, you could say, like a mage as well, but does carry a rather large two-handed hammer. So yeah, definitely some form of warrior. Now, gameplay-wise, if you've played Vermintide, you kind of know what the melee is like. The difference with this, of course, is it's heavily ranged focus. Now, it doesn't look like it from what's on screen, but this is the opening prologue, just to get you used to the controls. Now, interestingly, after this prologue, it does then teach you how to do combat, which I do find a little bit odd, because you've been fighting the entire time during the prologue, and it doesn't teach you all of the really useful techniques until after you've finished the prologue. Very odd, but there we go. Graphically, it looks really nice. Now, I am playing this on a PlayStation 5 Pro, so your graphics may look slightly different. This is PlayStation 5 Pro Enhanced, so what those enhancements are, I do not know, simply because there are no additional options in the options menu, which I always find odd, because it would be nice to turn them off so you can see the difference, but there we go. Basically what that means is, it says it's PlayStation 5 Pro Enhanced. I have no idea whether it is, because I don't know whether this is what it looks like on a bog standard PlayStation 5. As I say, an option to turn them on or off would be nice so that we can see the difference. And that would also allow people to know the work that the developers have put in. Flame effects, lighting effects are all exceptional. They do not have ray tracing from what I can tell, but even so it does look pretty decent. It's relatively smooth running as well. I would say it's easily hitting 60 frames per second, and looking at the visuals I would say you are most likely running at 4K. Being PlayStation 5 Pro, it may be the new upscaling system that they're using, which by all intents and purposes is extremely good. If it is, it definitely is good, because I can't tell the difference. There again, I'm not a professional, so that could be why. The smoke effects look really nice, so does the light lighting up those smoke effects, and as I say, it just plays really nicely. Now I'm going to skip through the rest of the prologue, simply because I don't want to spoil the entire thing, but as it stands we are going to go into the training area after the prologue. But anyway, I'll join you there. Okay, so this is basically the main ship that you start on. About to go into the training section, as I say, and it's a bit of an odd one. I must admit, it doesn't normally start talking until you've come into this room, but because I actually had to stop playing just as I was about to go into this room, in fact I got to this stage and then had to stop, it kind of reset me back to the start of this section, and did kind of screw up a bit of the dialogue pacing and timing, but it didn't screw it up to the extent where it was wrong. It just happened earlier than it did the first time. Not a problem. I mean, going back to what I was saying about the graphics, I think you could see, looking at the character's face, it's not realistic, but this guy's an Ogrin, so is that what they look like? Quite possibly. The eyes are really nice looking though, they have done an excellent job on those, but yeah, it does look really nice overall. So, the training. When you complete your training, you actually get a melee weapon and a ranged weapon, which is really nice. So, this is pretty bog standard basic training, quite what it says. Do a number of attacks to complete the training. So you have to perform a light attack chain. There you go, 3 times. This is the sort of thing that's been done in this type of games forever. I'm not going to say it's boring and repetitive, but I think the fact that they have to include something to tell you how to swing a weapon in a game is relatively concerning. More advanced stuff, look, I can understand that. I can understand if there are special techniques that you can do and things like that, but just having to press the uppercut button 3 times, why? Just tell me what it is and then I can choose to use it or not. It's a little bit irritating. But let's skip forward and look at what you can do once you've finished your training. One of the things that you can do is access your character loadout. Now, in this game you have a primary and a secondary weapon, primary for the brute being melee and secondary being a ranged weapon. You can change those and they will do extra damage or whatever. Interestingly, the armour, and that means your armour, your pants or trousers as we call them in the UK, your backpack, etc., are all customizable, but only from a cosmetic point of view. They do not change your armour value at all. So in theory, if you're not worried about the look of your character, you don't ever have to change it. You can just stay wearing your prison garb. That's absolutely fine. Personally, I like my character to look really good, so I will be trying to unlock as many of these as possible, apart from the headpieces, because I kind of like the look of my character with his big bushy beard. Although maybe that helmet will do, because that looks pretty funky. Or that hood. That hood looked alright as well. But in general, you can change the look, but nothing else as far as your character's concerned. I don't think the backpacks even give you extra carry capacity. Like certain other games, you have frames and you have an insignia. It kind of reminds me of Inquisitor Martyr as far as that's concerned, where you have the frame and you have your symbol underneath your picture. There are stances. I believe they are what you actually do at the end of each mission. And obviously as you start you'll just get the default one, and that's fine. You can level up masteries for each of your weapons, and as you can see there are different melee weapons, not just better versions of the one you have, but completely different ones. I'm going to skip through all of the information there, but you can see you do actually have talent tree as well, so it's very much like a role play game. It's where this differs mostly from Space Marine 2. That and the fact that when you're actually in combat in mission, it's first person, not third person like it is in Space Marine. That being said though, it would be good to get into an actual mission so you can see what the gameplay looks like from a completing the prologue section. But I just wanted to show you some of the cutscene work, because although you saw it right at the beginning, sometimes the opening cutscene is better than the rest, whereas in this game the cutscenes are actually really, really good. I am a bit of a cutscene junkie, I must admit. I do like a decent cutscene, and I know a lot of people complain about them, saying they take you out of the world, etc. But I know I'm playing a game, so I don't get that involved in the world that a cutscene takes me out of it. In fact, this is the storytelling part, and this is where you learn most of what's going on. And I like to do that in a very visual way. Diablo 2 was my first game where the cinematics and the cutscenes really, really hit home. Followed by Final Fantasy VII. I think the ones in that were really good as well. And cutscenes have played a really big part of gaming ever since. I think games like God of War, where they kind of integrated the cutscenes into in-game graphics, are fine because the in-game graphics are so good. And they probably are in this as well. But the fact that they've made it cinematic is what really does it for me. But let's take a walk to the mission selection area and just have a look around the actual ship itself. So Warhammer 40k, for those who don't know, has massive ships the size of cities. Now, these starships are kilometres long, and they really do have a real impressive interior look. Very gothic, dark, and foreboding. Now, before I do anything else, you can see all of those items popping up on the right hand side of the screen. That's all cosmetic changes because I got the premium edition so that I could get it early to get a video for you guys. So I'm going to change the look of my character just so you can see what it's like. So first and foremost, I didn't choose the face piece because it kind of covered up that awesome beard that I've created, but I do kind of like that over the green shirt. Although green is my favourite colour, I think the fact that it's all tattered and obviously prison garb is not really what we want. So we do have a few things that we can apply, and as you can see, they are literally cosmetic. Nothing has changed as far as our character other than the look. Unfortunately, there were no cosmetics for either of the weapons. Would have been nice if there was, but I think I've got to find a different type of weapon before those will work. Now, I did decide to not put any more gameplay in this simply because it's gone on long enough, but this is basically the hub in the centre of the ship where you select the missions, and as you can see, there are a lot to do. I will be doing more videos on this, but if you have enjoyed this one, please make sure you click the like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and please do leave me a comment down below of what you thought of this one. Anyway, as usual, you all take care. Bye for now.